Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. In my last tutorial I showed you how to make these beautiful rings to go along with the Alluring Rivoli pendant that I showed how to make a few months ago. For this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the matching earrings, which are just stunning, and this will complete the set. So if you didn't see the pendant tutorial and you didn't see the ring tutorial, I will leave links for both videos down there in the description bar, along with a whole bunch of other stuff that you're going to want to see. So for this tutorial, we're going to make these gorgeous earrings. Let's get started. Here is the list of materials you will need to make a pair of Alluring Rivoli earrings. You will need to cut two 3-foot pieces of either 6-pound or 8-pound Fireline. Again, you'll need 2 pieces and each piece 3 foot long. You will also need a size 10 beading needle, 2 14mm Rivolis, 8 discduos from Potomac beads, you can only get them from Potomac, and 14 4mm beads. They could be fire polished or bicones. You're also going to need 11 seed beads and Superduos in 2 colors. You also need ear wires. And remember, I always put the list of materials down there in the description bar so you could see everything you need. So I went ahead and I threaded my needle, and now the next thing I have to do is to make the base for my Rivoli to sit on. So I'm going to go ahead and use the discduos. So I'm just going to pick up a discduo, a seed bead, discduo, seed bead, discduo, a seed bead, and a discduo, and one more seed bead. So now I have 4 of each bead, and this is what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna slide all of these beads down. Okay, to about the middle of my thread. Now there's this, I've made so many of these rings and earrings, and I've found that this part here, when we're making the base, the best thing to do is to take our tail and measure, not the tail that has a needle on it, but the end tail. Take the tail and measure on a ruler 6 inches. Okay, so right here is my 6-inch mark. And then what I like to do is I like to mark the 6-inch mark with a marker, because I have found that if I don't have it exactly 6 inches and it's too short, I won't have enough tail to tie knots, and if I have too much tail at the end, then I won't have enough to work on my ring if I want a larger ring band. So doing this just helps with a lot. So I just have a paper here, and I'm just marking this right here, the 6-inch mark on my thread, so you could see the black there on my thread. And you can roll over and do the other side, because I have noticed that one side will get colored and the other side won't. Okay, so once that's marked, then we can slide our beads down. Okay, so I'm going to finish sliding these down to the permanent marker, just like that. There you can see the permanent marker marks. Now I'm going to hold it like this, okay, all 8 of my beads, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to run my needle through all of these here, okay, through all 8 of these. Make sure you're not missing any, and I'm going to pull my needle through. Go ahead and pull it through. I was just stuck in my pliers over there. Okay, so you could see right there's my black marker. I just want to keep this bead right here at that marker mark, okay, and pull this. It doesn't have to be really tight, but as long as it's closed like this. Okay, now I'm just gonna pull both of these. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to tie my knots right here. And I'm going to tie a surgeon's knot. So I'm going to go over and under one time and pull it down. Okay. Then I'm going to go over and under 2 times and pull the knot down. And then I just like to do it again. I go over and under, pull it down, and over and under twice, and pull it down. And if you want, you can do it one more time, over and under. Okay, and pull that last one tight. Okay, now, I've made so many of these earrings and rings, starting the base set like this. I don't like going back and weaving the tail in because it gets really tight in the back of the Rivoli. So I found it best to do the tail now and trim it off, and then we just go on with the rest of our needle and we don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle onto this tail. You don't have to thread a needle onto it if you don't want to. I have done it without the needle. You can do it without it if you want. You could just pass the thread through the next bead, just like that. Pull it through. Like I said, you can thread it on a needle if you want. And take the end of your thread, pass it through this hole here, make a loop, and go through the loop twice, tying a half hitch knot, and pull this knot down right here. Make sure it falls right there between those beads, okay? And then what I do is I just take the end of this and I go through the next bead, just like that, and I tie another half hitch knot here. And I actually go all the way around. I tie a knot between every bead. I come all the way back around. I pass my thread through this bead. I'll put it on a needle if I have to, and I'll just pass through these two beads here, and then I'll trim my thread right here. So just tie as many knots as you can in this, because this is a very important part right here. This is going to be tight, and we're going to have a lot of tension on this, and we don't need threads to break, and that's why I went through this twice. So it's very important that you go through this several times and tie the knots. So go ahead and do that, and trim your tail, and I'll be back with you to show you what to do next. I went ahead and I tied all the knots between every bead, and you would think that you would be able to see the knots, but you can't see the knots, so that's pretty awesome. So anyways, I have my tail here coming out of this knot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through this disc duo, but in the other hole, so the hole that's right here, okay? So I'm going to pass through there, pull my thread through, just like that. That's how it should look. And now I'm going to pick up 3 11/0 seed beads. Okay, so pick up 3 of them. Exiting out of this disc duo, I'm going to go into the next one in the outer hole and pull that through. Okay, so now I have that. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to do all 4 sides. Picking up 3, going through this hole, pulling it through, just like that. Turning it, picking up 3, going through the next hole and pulling it through. Pick up 3 again and go through the next hole, just like this. Pull that through, and I like to put my fingers on it so I don't rip out of my hand. Okay. Now if you pull this too tight, it will cup. Okay, like that, and we don't actually want it to cup. We don't. So what I do is I just put it between my thumb and my index finger, and I just pull it snug. I don't want it to cup. I actually want it to lay flat. It'll cup by itself when we get to that point. So I actually found that it's best to make this loose. So it's fine just like this, and you can actually see the thread. That's no big deal because the Superduos are going to cover that up. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up my Superduos, and you can do any color pattern you want on this. If you look here in this ring, I did all purple on the bottom and I did gold on the top. Now for the corners, I did the gold right here, so I would pick up like 2 of these, 1 of these, and then 2 of those, and that's how I got the gold in the corner. If you want it like that, there's so many different ways to do this, but for this pattern I think I'm going to do the magic blue, and this one here, I forgot what that color is called, the magic blue and this one. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, well, magic blue again, is because I want this bead to nestle in between the light 2 blue ones here, and I did try this with the magic blue and I wasn't too happy with it because this here was blending and I could not see that bead in there. It looked like it didn't exist. So the 2 light blues is going to make that pop. Okay, so I'm picking up 5 Superduos, and again, this is my color pattern. I'm exiting out of this bead right here, so I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to go through this disc duo, the next one. Okay, pull this through, just like that, and now you can see my pattern. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the same thing. I got a magic blue, this one here, magic blue, this one, and this one. A total of 5. Now I'm exiting out here. I'm going to go through the next disc duo. Hold it between your fingers and pull tight. And this is what you should have. Again, I'm going to be repeating this pattern and going through here. When you pull this tight, make sure that none of the disc duos are flipping in, because sometimes you will have one that will flip in like that, and you're pulling it tight, but it won't flip back. You have to actually make it flip by itself, because if you don't do that and you go continue on with this, you'll have a lot of loose thread in here. So make sure that all your Superduos are flipped out. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the last bit here, my 5 Superduos. Okay, just like that. And I'm exiting out of this disc duo. I'm going to go through this one right here, just like that. I'll turn this and pull it through. Now pull this tight. Okay, now it's best to hold this between your fingers when you go to pull your thread through, so it doesn't loosen up, because this is a repeating issue that will happen over and over. So I'm going to take my needle, I'm exiting out of this disc duo, and I need to go into this Superduo right through this one right there. Okay, so as you're pulling this through, hold it between your fingers so it doesn't loosen up. Okay, so it should look like this. And now I'm going to step up so I can add some more beads. So I'm going to go back through the same Superduo, but I'm going to go in the opposite hole. So I'm going to go through this hole here. So again, put your fingers on this like this and hold it tight and gently pull that through so it doesn't loosen up. Okay, so now we have this. Now if this does loosen up in here, if you do have exposed threads around your Superduos, all you have to do is take your needle and pull the thread right here, the loop on this, pull that tight, and then gently pull this back out, and you should have the problem fixed. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 1 Superduo and I'm going to put it right here. And what we're making is like a bezel, prongs, I would say, that's going to hold our Rivoli. Now in the pendant I actually had 4 prongs, but with the ring I found it, because, well, the ring and the earring, I found it best to do 4 prongs. So I'm going to have a prong here, 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 that's 4, and this one here, and this one, and this one, and this one, I will also flip those up, and those will be prongs too. So I'm going to put this Superduo right here. So again, get your needle into that hole, and then hold it between your fingers so it doesn't loosen up, and carefully bring that through. Careful that you don't have any loose thread, and I don't, so we're able to continue on. Now the next thing to do is to pick up 1 seed bead, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and again, you want to hold this between your fingers because it will loosen up. That's the one I'm going through. And it's just a few rows we have to get past, and then we won't have to worry about it loosening up. Okay, so now I'm coming out here, and you can see I have this magic blue Superduo here, and I want this one to stand up because that's going to be a prong, and I'm going to put a 4mm bead right here in this spot. So I'm going to pick up a 4mm and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and I'm going to pull it tight. Tension is very important on this. There's some spots that have to be loose, and then there's some spots that have to be tight. Okay, so I just did that. Now I'm going to put another seed bead right here to match this side. So picking up 1 seed bead, I'm going to pass through the next Superduo, pull it tight, and now I'm ready to add another one right here. Okay, and pass through here. The next one, and pull it tight, just like that. Now I'm going to pick up one seed bead, and I'm going to put it right here. Pull it tight. Now I'm going to pick up another 4mm, and it's going to sit right here. So I need this Superduo to stand up. Okay, make sure that this one is standing up in the same direction as this one, because if it's poking out the back, we'll have problems and we'll have to take it apart and stand it back up so they're all pointing in the same direction. Okay, pull that through, pull it tight, and this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to pick up another seed bead, and I'm going to go through this Superduo. I'm going to pick up another Superduo, and I'm going to go right here with it. I'm going to put it between these two. Pull this tight, because as you could see there was thread showing up there. We don't need any thread showing. Okay, so this is what I have so far. These are my prongs. Turning this around. I'm now going to pick up another seed bead and put it right here. I'm going to pick up my corner bead and put it right here. And I need to make sure that this is standing up in the same direction as my other ones. Okay, and it is. Now I'm going to get a seed bead and go through the next duo. My last Superduo for this section right here. And pull it through. I'm going to stop and pull all of this tight, and then I'm going to continue on. So right here I am, and I need to pick up a seed bead. So I'm picking up a bead, and I'm going to go through here. Okay, now I'm at the corner. I already have 3 4mm beads on, and now I have to pick up my last one. Right here, I'm going to go through this Superduo, make sure this one is standing up so it matches the rest. Now I'm going to pick up a seed bead, and I'm going to pass through this Superduo right here, and if I can I'll go through the next, but sometimes it's a little hard. Okay, I did it. So I went through this Superduo and through the middle one, the prong one here, okay? So I'm just going to pull this through. Just like that, and pull this tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is lay this down, and I need to push this down because this needs to be indented right here, and I'll zoom in on this and show you what's going on. I have my 8 prongs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're all standing up, and I just push the center down, and I pull this thread tight. Now what I'm going to do is take my needle, and I'm exiting out of this Superduo. I'm going to go through the same Superduo but in the opposite hole. So I'm going to go in this direction. My tail's coming out there. I'm just going around. Like a little U-turn. Okay, pulling that through. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my beads here to go around the top. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay, and I'm just going to do my last color of Superduos and the seed beads around the top, and then when I get to a certain point I'll be able to stick this in. Okay, so I think I will zoom in closer so you could see what I'm doing. So I'm exiting out of this Superduo right there. I'm going to leave this sitting on my mat. I'm going to pick up one seed bead, Superduo, one seed bead, and I'm going to go through my next prong. So I'm exiting out here, and I'm going through my next Superduo prong, and I'm pulling this through, Okay, and I'm just turning this as I'm pulling it, and I like to turn it in the direction that I'm able to pull my thread out. Okay, now I'm going to do another seed bead, super duo, seed bead, exiting out of this one, I'm going into the next one. Pull this through, turn this. Okay. This doesn't have to be incredibly tight every time we add beads, because once we go around, all the way around, then we're going to cinch it up. Okay, so I'm picking up another seed bead, a super duo, another seed bead, exiting out here, I'm going to go in the next hole and pull this through. Okay, another seed bead, super duo, seed bead, in through the next prong, which is this one. Okay, another seed bead, duo, seed bead, into the next one, pull it through. Okay, so now you can see the beads we're adding here. I like to have them flipped out so I could put my Rivoli on. Seed bead, super duo, seed bead, through the next one right here. I'm exiting out of this one, going into that one, pull it through. Another seed bead, super duo, and a seed bead in through this one. Pull that. Now I'm going to pick up a seed bead, my last super duo for the top, and a seed bead, and I'm going to pass, I'll pick this up so you could see, turn it around so you can check out my work and see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm exiting out of this one right here. I just picked up a seed bead, a super duo, and a seed bead, and I'm going to go in through the super duo that I came out of when I first started doing the bezel for the top. And I'm also going to go through the next seed bead and through the next super duo. So I'm going through these three beads right here, and I'm pulling the needle through and pulling it tight. So now I have what looks like this, and I just like to flip all of these super duos out so I could put my Rivoli in. Okay, so now I'm going to drop my Rivoli in the center, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pull this thread here tight, and this part is a little tricky, trying to get the tension right on this, because you could see pulling it tight, it goes perfectly around a Rivoli, loosening it up, it's too big. So I'm going to take my needle, I'm exiting out of this super duo right here, I'm going to go into the same super duo but in the opposite hole, going in this direction, pull it through, but don't pull it through all the way because we have to tighten it up. Okay, so I'm just pulling it through like this, and I'm leaving a loop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this super duo with my nails like that, pulling the thread tight. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my working tail out just to make this tight. Okay, now pull this tight. Okay, I'm just going to flip these out just like that, and this is what we have, and it looks tight. Okay, I'm exiting out of this super duo right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put seed beads in here, and this is going to be cinched closed. Now to figure out which amount of seed beads goes in which gap, this is how I do it. See how this is a square shape, okay? And I have these corners. Now on the sides I pick up 2 seed beads and I go through the next super duo. When I get to a corner, I pick up 1 seed bead and I go through a super duo. At the side again, I pick up 2, at a corner, 1, side 2, corner 1, side 2, corner 1. That's how I do it. So right now I'm exiting out of here. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads because I'm on the side. I need this square look here on the top. So I'm coming out here and I'm going to go into the next super duo. Gently pull this through so it doesn't loosen up on me. Okay, now I'm going to pull this tight because this is my last chance to get this tight. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead here for the corner. go in right there. Okay. Don't pull it too tight because this will fall out. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads now because I'm here on this side of my square. So picking up 2, going through there. The next Superduo, turning it like that. I'm at the corner, so that means I need 1 seed bead, and some of these seed beads here are screwy, so I have to pay attention to that. I'm at the corner, so that means I need 1 seed bead, going through here. Just like that. I'm at the side, so I need 2. Going through this one. Oops. Just like that. Turning it again. Picking up 1 seed bead and going through the next Superduo right here in my corner. I'm back at the side over here, so I have to do 2. Pulling that through. Just like that. Now I'm at the corner, and this is the last spot I have to fill in, and I'm gonna go through the Superduo here. Pull this through. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here and let you take a gander of what we got. Here's the sides. That's the top. Here's our bottom. Now I have to reinforce this. So if you look closely, you could see this Superduo right here that has this thread. Now if you look at all the other ones, none of them have that except for this one. So our thread is coming out of this Superduo. So this is actually marking where we started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back around and reinforce this whole top and come back out this Superduo. So I'm just going to go through. Oh, and you don't have to pull this tight until we go through the beginning Superduo. Okay, so I'm just going to pass through the 2 seed beads, Superduo, seed bead, Superduo, pull that through, go through 2 seed beads, Superduo, seed bead, Superduo, just like that. Just going all the way around here, reinforcing this, going back to the one we started at. Okay, almost there. I have to go through these 2, Superduo, seed bead, and right here is the one I started at. You can see the thread right there, okay? Now I'm going to pull this through, and I'm going to pull this tight. And there we go. We just reinforced the top, and this is what we have so far. So now what I have to do is reposition my needle down here, and then I have to reinforce the outer edge. So right now I'm here, and I'm going to take my needle and pass through the same Superduo, but in the opposite hole. So right here, I'm going through the same Superduo, but in the other hole. Then I'm going through the seed bead and the Superduo right there. Okay, so pull that through. Then I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to go through this Superduo here, but I'm going to go through the bottom hole. And in order to do that, I have to go through at an angle. So I'm going to take my needle and go through it like this. And it does help to turn this upside down. If you have a hard time getting through, you can take your fingernails and push these 2 Superduos apart, and you should be able to get through. Careful you don't grab that little thread right there that's on top of that Superduo. Okay? So I made it through, going through there, going through here, and you could see a little glimmer of silver of my needle between those 2 Superduos, so I knew I made it through this one here. So I'm going to pull that through, pull it tight. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to sew through this Superduo and through the 4mm bead. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do is reinforce this whole outer edge, and I'm going to come all the way back up to here, and I'm going to add the rest of my earring on, this more decorative part right there at the top. Instead of just having the ear wire here, it's going to look even fancier with this part here. So, now I have to reinforce it. And like I said in my ring video, I could tell where's the top at because of the threads right here on the Superduo. There's threads on each side, so I know that's my top. So I'm going to go ahead and start reinforcing it, going all the way around, going in at an angle right here to get through these beads, going this way, pulling it through, going through the Superduo, the 4mm, Czech fire polish through these here. I'm going to go in at an angle through these two. I'm going to go through this one and the seed bead. And over here's the top, so I keep have to go around because I'm just now gotten halfway there. I'm going to sew through these two here, through these here at an angle, going through these here, almost there, right there's the top, through these two beads, through these here, again go in at an angle, it's the best way to get through. You could separate them also with your fingernails if you need to. I have to go in more at an angle. Wiggle it, and this time it's trying to go up through my next bead, and I think it's because my needle is so bent. So I'm going to straighten my needle back out. And if you have a bunch of bent needles, you can straighten them out with your pliers. I do it all the time. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, I got through. Now I just have a few more to go. Right here. Pulling that through. And now I have to go through this Superduo and through the 4mm. Okay, and through this last bead. Now I made it. I'm back at the top. So in order to do this fancy part here, it's pretty simple. All I'm going to do is pick up a seed bead, Superduo, seed bead, 4mm, seed bead, Superduo, seed bead, 4mm, seed bead, Superduo, seed bead again, 4mm, and seed bead, Superduo, seed bead. Okay, so this here is the whole sequence of beads that I have to pick up. Okay, so after you pick all that up, slide it down, just like that. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to sew back through this 4mm bead, through the first seed bead and the Superduo. Just like that. Pull it through, pull it tight. I'm going to flip this over here to the back. I'm going to go through this Superduo like here, right here, and I'm going to hold this between my fingers and pull the needle through so it doesn't loosen up, and pull it tight. Okay? Now I'm going to flip this up, pick up one seed bead and go through the Superduo next to it, like that. And I'm just going to flip these here in and pick up one seed bead at a time and pass through them, pulling the 4 Superduos together, like that. Here's another one, another seed bead, go through the next Superduo, pull it in, just like that. Now I have 3 here, and I just need one more. And I also have to get back up to the top, so in order to do that, I pick up one seed bead. I'm going through these here. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and pull it tight. Now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through this Superduo, the next seed bead, again pull that tight, through this Superduo and the next seed bead, pull that tight again. I'm going to go through this Superduo here and again pull it tight. Then I'm going to take my needle and go up through the same Superduo but in the other hole, just like that. And then I'm going to go up through the seed bead here, and then I'm also going to try to go through the 4mm. Okay, so just like that. I'm going to pull this through, but as you can see, it's loosening up here in my center. So to fix that, I'm going to take my thread, this loop here, and pull that tight, then hold it between my fingers and pull my thread through the rest of the way. And there we go. It looks great. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over the right way. Okay, and I need my ear finding. I'm using leverbacks. I love these. My thread's coming out over here, and this is the front of my earring, so I need my ear wire to sit like this. Now it's possible that your needle could be coming out this side, so if it is, you would go through the ear finding just like this, so you know it's facing the right direction. So I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads. Then I'm going to go through my ear finding. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up 3 more and slide them down. Now I'm going to pick this up and my thread's exiting out here, so I'm going to take my needle and pass through the same bead in the opposite direction, making a little loop here. Now I need to go back through this and reinforce it, and also I'm going to add more seed beads here so this stays straight. See how this here is straight? So I need to make this earring look just like this one at the top. So I'm going to take my needle, pass down through this seed bead and through the Superduo. Careful not to catch your ear finding. Pull that through, pull it tight. Then I'm going to pass through the same Superduo in the other hole, and then I'm going to go through the seed bead right there below the 4mm. Then I'm going to go through this Superduo, and I like to turn this as a work because it's easier to go through. Now I'm going to go up this Superduo but on the opposite side. So I came out that side, now I'm going to go up this side. And I'm also going to go through the 11 C bead above it. Just the one, not all of these, just that one. Okay, pull that tight. Now I'm going to fill this gap right here with 1 seed bead. So I'm picking up 1, and I'm going to pass through these 3 seed beads and through my leverback earring. Pull that through, and you can see how that seed bead just popped into the hole. Now I'm taking this needle and I'm passing through these 3 right here. Careful not to catch the leverback earring. I need to move my needle down. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 1 more seed bead, and I'm going to put it in right here. So I'm going to take my needle, I'm exiting out these 3 seed beads. I'm going to take my needle and go through this 1 seed bead. Just like that. Pull it through, pull it tight, and it should pop into place. And what I like to do is I like to push these here in, which this one just did it automatically. But if it doesn't, you can tidy this up by pushing these ones here in and tugging on this, and you should have a triangle looking shape at the top of your earring there. Okay? Now we're ready to tie half hitch knots, which is very simple, and it's too hard to tie the half hitch knots down here because when I reinforced it, it made it extra tight and your needle won't pass through it. So I just tie the half hitch knots up here. I go all the way around here, tying knots between the beads. Then I come back up through here and I reinforce this one more time. I come through this bead and then I trim the thread. Okay, so to tie a half hitch knot, if you've never done it before, I'm going to take the needle and pass through here, make a loop, then I'm going to go through the loop twice. A lot of people go through it one time, and that's actually how you're supposed to do it. But sometimes it's not very secure, so I always find that going through it twice makes a very secure knot. Okay, so I went through it twice, and I'm pulling it down. Okay, and there my knot is gone, it disappeared. So now I'm going to take my needle and pass through the Superduo, and also I'll go through the next bead, the 11-0. Just like that. And I'll tie another knot right here. Take the needle, go underneath, grab the thread right here, go through the loop twice, and slowly bring that knot down, and then pass through the 4mm bead. And then I would go ahead and tie another knot here, and I would pass through these two beads, tie another knot, pass through this one, and tie some more knots. And I just like to really tie a bunch of knots and make this very strong, reinforce it, make it durable so this lasts for years and years and years. So go ahead, keep tying your knots, and when you get up here, like I said earlier, trim your thread, and you're done, and you have yourself a beautiful pair of earrings that go along with the matching ring and the necklace. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.